Hey everybody, Wei G tapping in for another court chat. Recently watched a video where Casey Zander did a presentation, shout out Casey, presentation regarding the kind of 7 deadly sins and how they play into attraction and desire for a partner that you might have. And these things really hit home for me because over my particular journey, I've come to face a lot of the sins that I had engaged in previously and achieved a level of discipline in regards to dealing with them. The importance of the sins, and this is why I believe that Jesus, depending on your faith, somebody died for your sins. And that's because by nature, we are all sinners. We do these things instinctually to survive and perpetuate the species. Lustfulness, where you spill your seed. Greed, wanting to achieve so you can have a kingdom that prospers. Wrath, you have to wage wars even on biblical levels, spiritual levels. Sloth, you have to rest so that you can continue to do the work on your purpose. Envy. Often, envy of a man's woman will lead to the downfall of many kingdoms. Greed, lust, sloth, wrath, pride. Pride is the thing that keeps courage inside of you so that you can stand tall in potentially dangerous situations. Too much pride, you can fall from grace. Gluttony, you have to consume to live. But the overconsumption, again, ties into kind of sloth. You're too much of a good thing. And dang, I forget them all. So let's go over it again. Pride, gluttony, sloth, lustfulness, rage, envy. Dang, I'm farting on the other one. I'll get to it. But engaging with these things have merit. You have to be able to essentially commit all of these sins to survive and perpetuate the species. What comes into play is the control that you have over what you're choosing to engage in. And this was the thing that recently clicked with me on my discipline journey. So a lot of you, most of us, were raised by people running in survival mode. There was no it's hindbrain stuff. So there's no real level of emotional intelligence and acuity. It's all just autopilot, becoming something that is capable of surviving with the trauma that it's dealt with. Because hurt is always going to be present. This is, again, the theory that I have with emotions. And most people past there is trauma. So they don't want to reflect on their history. And then moving forward, they might want to prevent any kind of trauma in the past from happening in the future. So there's insecurity, fear, and doubt looking ahead. So we don't want to do that. It'll lead to anxiety. I don't want to feel how I felt before or how I might be feeling now. So I'm going to chase happiness. And this is where people often get caught up in, those sins. Lustfulness, sloth, greed, envy, gluttony, wrath, and man, I forget. I'm gonna get all of these right at some point. But whatever, all these sins, this is where you start to overindulge to seek and find pleasure comforting. What I got the gift of, and this was through a lot of pain. I got to time travel all the way back through my history. And I got to understand where my hurt started from. And why I was angry as a result of it, because I chose to ignore sadness. I've spoke about this in a couple videos about Inside Out. The Disney movie with, the emotions, joy, sadness, rage, and jealousy or whatever. They didn't want to let sadness have her shine, but sadness played an important role in some of those happy memories. Because of this is where attraction can come into play too. Because of the dichotomy between joy and sadness, they need each other. You can't experience one without the other. Truly. And if you want to be happy, you have to understand why you're sad and let that happen. If not, you can push it around and you can live in anger, but that's going to be detrimental for you over the long run. That's what I did for a long time. Where my anger stemmed from was a lack of acknowledgement and gratification, because I was saving people that were stuck on survival mode. I became quote unquote Captain Save 'em. I wanted to, and this isn't just women. This was men and women alike, from friends, family, otherwise, like I wanted to take care of people from such a young age. But the issue with doing that is that everybody don't want to be taken care of, and they will fight you tooth and nail to prevent you from doing so. So let's say that you care about a woman and you're trying to do for this woman, but this woman doesn't like you. She might let you do for her, but she won't let you do for her. She won't follow your lead and do the things that you understand might put this person in a better light. Junkies. You can want to save a junkie, but you can't make a junkie stop using. It's impossible. It's something that they have to choose to control. This is why I understand sadness. I've come to care for things that I wanted to care for, but they wouldn't let me do it. And I have a very nurturing spirit. You see from some of my videos, I have plants. I keep plants around me. I've done this for as long as I can remember. I've always cared for and nurtured plants. I've always cared for and nurtured people. I've always cared for and nurtured pets, children, and the like. The one person that I never really stopped to take the time and care and nurture for, and this was the blessing of my divorce, this dude. I chose to expend all that energy caring and nurturing for other people, and I've neglected the one person that needs probably the most nurturing and care because I was neglected through my upbringing. Again, most of you were raised by people in survival mode. You were taught to be seen and not heard. You might not have been acknowledged. You might have to step into a responsible role before you got to fully enjoy your childhood. Could these traits have been beneficial for you in the long run? Definitely. But they could also be detrimental because they've skewed your mental model of what your reality can be. And due to that fact, if you want to take control and start to master things in your life, you can time travel. You can go back to all that pain, all that hurt, find that kid that was neglected inside you, and pull that monster up into your reality, because that's the thing that's been keeping you safe. They've just been crying out. They've just been neglected and not acknowledged. They've just been not appreciated for what they actually provided to your life. Most of us are children with bank accounts, which makes us dangerous as adults. Use that term loosely. So, time traveling back to that, understanding my survival mode, understanding where my anger stems from, looking at the thing that raised me, it made so much more sense. Because that person was in survival mode. Watching people in survival mode are the people that you want to save because they are barely living. It'd almost be better for you to watch them because you wouldn't have to watch them suffer anymore. And that becomes a paradox. The thing that allows me to be, I get to be sadness, and it's for horrible reasons that are completely outside of my control, though. So I understand that, but it doesn't stop me from caring. What I have to control is really my ability to do so. My sadness stems from now, current, present time and day, wanting to care for people that I can't. And this is the nature of relationships, attractiveness, comfort. If you understand these things, if you get to understand these things, the more you understand yourself, the more you can see stuff in others. Insecurity, things that they're angry about, things that they're holding on to that they might not let go. A simple apology can go a long way. And I got to go back and make several apologies to people. A lot of them really said that I understood, because my inherent nature generally is to care. And I'm straightforward. I'm straight up honest. I know what I'm doing. The thing that is troubling a lot of people with relationships, dating, whatever, risk. Everybody's trying to mitigate risk. You're gonna get nowhere fast in any relationship the moment that you start to mitigate risk. You might be able to catch but not keep. You might be able to keep but not catch something else, and that's also gonna destroy you. Growing up in the manner that I did, attracting people was never an issue. And I would sort through people because I moved around so much. Your asset liability status. Everybody does this subconsciously or consciously. It sounds cold, but everybody shouldn't be allowed to have access to your world. You should be very selective on who you choose to give access to your world. My homie out here, he called me self-oriented, and I acknowledge that he's correct. But I also care. I told him to put me back in the game, coach, and that's still my dude. He knows my flaw. He still chooses to interact with me, and I appreciate that. And those are things that you might have to do to foster healthy relationships. Definitely apologize, but that's my dude. We got a bromance. For relationship with opposite partners, the thing that's funny there is the war that's being fought is not, there's an external war for sure, but it's here and it's here. I've been talking to somebody that I care about, and they told me that they would rather struggle. They would rather struggle than to be corrected, is what I got from it. They said talk down to, but sometimes if you're being corrected, it's gonna feel how it feels. But you might wanna take that advice. That mentality has always been weird with me. Why would you ever think doing bad by yourself is better than figuring out how to work with the person that cares about you? Do you know how hard it is to find care in this world? More people are using each other haphazardly than actually caring. They're using each other for comfort, they're using each other for physical interaction, they're using each other for money, for time, for resources. I got it to give. I've always had it to give. The one person I wasn't giving it to was myself, though. Now that I do that, probably more so than ever, I definitely live my life. I've indulged in many things. You've heard me discuss these. Coming to terms with that, though, and really settling down into who I am, consolidating and condensing on this person, It takes very little to sustain me. Very little. And then now the well and spring of joy, happiness, vibrant, exciting, willing to do energy, again, walking resource, moving asset. I am the resource. Because I can get more of anything that I already have, and it's probably on the way. And I was angry for that. I was fueled off anger for many years. Now I'm fueled off of things that people can't imagine. Most people don't get to enjoy. It doesn't cost a lot. Maybe a little bit of effort. Damn, what are the sins? So, pride, lustfulness. I should know this. I watched Full Metal Alchemist. Pride, lustfulness, wrath, envy, greed, sloth, gluttony. Right? There we go. Pride, lustfulness, wrath, greed, envy, sloth, gluttony. Boom. Got him. About time. So those are the 7 sins. Pride, greed, gluttony, sloth, envy, wrath, whatever. You get it. You get what I'm saying. But those things are pivotal. And Casey was speaking about being a better man, which is just having self-discipline. The thing that comes with this healing is you see people's flaw and you want to care, but you can't let them into your world. Casey has this theory to, I guess not a theory, he's been through a relationship that caused him a bit of trauma because he let somebody into his space and he realized how much control that he was giving up. The thing that the opposite sex doesn't understand is that to truly be cared for, I have to sacrifice something to do it for you. If I'm gonna truly protect you, I either have to put you up in a space that I have control over, or I have to allow you into mine. If I allow you into my space, I'm therefore weakening myself because I no longer have complete control over my environment. Very dangerous situation. He spoke on the situation that he went through in regards to that. So it's easy to date. It's easy to maintain any kind of relationship outside of that. Living together, fostering children, that's gonna be a whole different story. You have to instinctually become a slightly weaker version of yourself to facilitate that need, that desire. You're actually weakening yourself to allow somebody into your space to truly care for and protect them. If not, you're just keeping them at an arm's reach. You can guide them and educate them, but you can't truly care for them like you would if they were in your space. So it's different, and like maintaining attraction long term, like we used to live shorter lives. Plus there was a lack of optionality and opportunity. You used to live towns apart, carriage rides away. You would have to send notes, letters. You would have to handwrite things by candlelight and send them away so they would always be longing for you. So this is why absence makes the heart grow fonder. This present day thing, living together in these environments, that's relatively new. And when you get to see things about people, ego gets in the way. Guilty of that. And nothing is stronger than the ego of somebody that isn't versed in strength itself. Strength is only strength if you can set it down. Power is only power if you can set it down. Otherwise, power is weakness because it's going to corrupt you. This is why all these sins are in moderation. Any overindulgence is going to corrupt you. This is why allegedly somebody for those, because they understand that we're sinning. What is taught as a lack of discipline. I'm supposed to be stronger than you and shoulder burdens that you can't. I'm supposed to be able to guide, educate, provide, nurture. I'm supposed to do those things and allow you to have a space that you can flourish, survive, thrive, and feel safe in. My safety is supposed to be at risk. My burden is supposed to be by duty. This is where that survival mentality comes in. Again, all the previous generations are running on survival mentality. So I have a duty to uphold these things. It's not about you, it's about what I'm supposed to do. This relatively new idea of happiness it's new. Chasing happiness is a horrible idea. That'll lead you down, and he's right about that. Pleasure is going to lead you down paths that you are not readily prepared for. And then probably nobody teaches people about, well, I bet they do. It's not like it's new. It's not new information. Drugs are bad, alcohol is bad, cigarettes are bad, any indulgence of fast food too much is bad. We all know these things, but it's a conscious discipline to engage in or limit what you allow into your life. So when the hurt becomes too great to bear or assess, I want to escape. I want to chase pleasure. I want to feel good. I want to be happy. Happiness is not a constant state. Happiness is surviving. Happiness is safety. Happiness is almost indifferent. It's existing. It's doing the maintenance work to ensure that you'll be strong enough to live another day. But if those same days are repetitive and boring, for me, that's discipline. For me, that means that I can provide. For me, that means that I'm getting better. For me, that means I'm being as strong as I possibly can. For others, that's unhappiness. They say people in jail become institutionalized because they get set on a routine. They become so set on a routine that stepping outside of that into reality is fearful because it's safe. Most of the people in prison have that wrong mentality because they're trying to escape challenging the world. From a young age, I wanted to challenge the world because I wanted to take care of people that I cared for. This life is funny. These things are very interesting to think about. But again, circling her back around, you have to risk anything to gain anything. And if you risk everything, you'll gain even more. I lost everything that I thought that I wanted and obtained everything that I didn't know that I need. Now I have the things accessible to me that I wanted, but I don't know if I need them anymore. That's interesting. They say that these people, these men that have these things, that have these pleasure, yes, self-care, but they might have a community, they might have things to care about. I don't know. I got to do something that a lot of men choose not to. A lot of people choose not to or don't have the capability to do so. I have 2 blessings. Shit, I might have more if I find somebody that has a history of twins. I will risk everything for them because they're worth it. And I get to educate and guide the next generation to do something hopefully splendiferous with their life. I know that one of them is either going to be Harry Potter or Voldemort for sure. I know that the other one is going to cause somebody's problem, but she's going to do well by it. I know these things. I know what I risked to get them. I know the price that I paid for both of them. What are you willing to pay to get what you want? Let's say it's Illuminati. What are you willing to give to get what you want? I gave untold stress, pressure, untold pain that I can't point to. Can't be like, it hurts here, doc. My neck's hurt. No, homie, my life hurts. This world is synthetic. I grew up in an old time before this was even a thing. I understand the reality of the world. If you're choosing to face it by yourself, know that that's your choice. But we're better together. And the stronger that I am, the stronger you might become. To truly be a leader and lead anything, you have to become something worth following. And you won't really understand that unless you've been through it. David Goggins, Andrew Tristan Tate, Dan Bilzerian, even like they've been through things. Joe Rogan, any great man, Neil deGrasse Tyson, like keep bringing them out. Bill Nye, like all these things, all these people have been through things. Joe down the street. Some of them have fared better than others. But you live that experience, you survive it. And if you continue to thrive through it, your value is going to be immeasurable. I've known that my value was up there for a while. I didn't really understand how valuable I was because the things that I was caring for chose to tear me down. Now that I'm absent those things and I really get to shine, I'm becoming something better than I thought that I ever thought that I could. It's interesting. So, don't want to keep rambling, but those things are very important. Again, you can't gain without risking. You'll never really understand. And then to truly have, you have to be willing to lose. If you're going to go through that, embrace the pain. Don't solve permanently time travel. You can always go back to your past to alter your future if you choose. Heal from that trauma. Everything isn't your responsibility or burden to bear, but it is your responsibility to bear your burden. Survival mode. Understand that people were becoming versions of themselves to survive situations because of that independent mentality. It's insane. Self-discipline, effort, care. Value your world and who you choose to let in it. I appreciate you taking the time to be a part of mine, and I hope this encourages you to build a space, an environment, a train for yourself. Lay it on the tracks so you can head in directions that you choose to be fruitful and prosperous in. This world is easily defeated now because it's not even real. Step outside, touch grass and ask, live your life. Wages out.